Did you ever have that sensation where you are watching someone do something get pricked by a needle and you can just feel exactly what they must be feeling as if you were in their place? You are watching a race and you feel your heart racing with excitement as the runners cross the finish line. Have you ever felt distressed in response to someone's pain? Why do we react at such a gut level to other people's actions? How do we understand so instinctively their thoughts, feelings and intentions? Well, being able to answer these questions requires that you understand what it meant by empathy. What is empathy? It is the ability to feel the emotions of another person by imagining what it would be like to be in that person's situation. It involves experiencing another person's point of view, by imagining yourself in their place. It is putting yourself in someone's position and feeling what exactly they must be feeling. People feel less alone when they know you understand their perspective, and that's what empathy is all about. Difference between sympathy and empathy. Sympathy is a feeling of pity for someone who is involved in some type of negative circumstances. Sympathy involves understanding from your perspective. You can't understand another person's situation. But empathy means the ability to imagine what someone else might be thinking or feeling and understand why they may have such feelings. It gives a feeling with the person rather than feeling sorry for the person. Types of empathy. 3 types of empathy that psychologists have defined are cognitive empathy, emotional empathy and compassionate empathy. When you talk to a friend about something that is bothering you and feels understood by that person, it's often because your friend was using cognitive empathy. Cognitive empathy is the ability to understand how a person feels, and it makes us better communicators. You may have noticed this when you cried watching a very sad scene in a movie. When you feel something because someone else does, this is emotional empathy. It is the ability to share the feelings of another person. This type of empathy helps you build emotional connections with others. When you see someone in need and offer that person some food or money, that is compassionate empathy. It goes beyond simply understanding others and sharing their feelings. It moves us to take action, to help however we can. The neuroscientific explanation behind empathy. Researchers have found that specific areas of the brain play a role in how empathy is experienced. Neuroscientist Giacomo Rizzolatti, who with his colleagues at the University of Parma, first identified mirror neurons, says that the neurons could help explain how and why we read other people's minds and feel empathy for them. Mirror neurons are a type of brain cell that respond equally when we act and when we witness someone else perform the same action. Empathy may be facilitated through a process of automatic mapping between self and others. Perception of the actions and emotions of others activates areas in our brain that typically respond when we experience those same actions and emotions. Empathy for another person's pain, for example, activates areas in our brain that typically get turned on while we experience pain. Multisensory cues give us information about other person's internal mental states, their intentions, and enable us to predict how they might react in a given situation. Mirror neurons respond both when perceiving and executing an action. They play a part in the ability to mirror and mimic the emotional responses that people would feel if they were in similar situations. Mirror neurons permit us to make use of all available sensory information to understand and empathize with the actions, intentions and emotions of others. Signs you are an empath. You are a great listener. You try to help people who are suffering. People often tell you about their problems and come to you for advice. You love pets and animals. You often feel overwhelmed by tragic events in life. You take comfort in nature. You can detect positive and negative vibes. Why does empathy make us feel better? Empathy is important because it helps us understand how others are feeling so we can respond appropriately to the situation. Showing empathy is an important way to build strong relationships and be a good friend. Practicing empathy is a good way to make a moral decision. It helps us connect and help others, and it increases forgiveness. It decreases aggression and judgment. It helps you to regulate your own emotions and improves mental health. How to develop empathy? Like any skill, empathy can be cultivated through intentional effort. It's a habit we can cultivate to improve the quality of our lives. Start the habit of listening to people without interrupting. Making an effort to actively listen can help strengthen your emotional understanding and empathy. Imagine yourself in another person's situation. Practice imagining what it might be like to be them at that moment, looking at the situation or circumstance from their perspective. Try to understand people even when you don't agree with them. Take action. Believe that you can do things, however small, to make a difference in someone else's life. Power of empathy. Empathy not only allows you to understand others but can also give you the motivation you need to make a difference. Whether that means consoling a friend, buying a small gift for someone who needs it, or donating to causes helping natural disaster victims, empathy becomes effective when you use it as motivation to do something about the problem. Next time when you see someone else is going through a hard time, be sure to listen and identify what you can do to help. The follow-through on empathy means initiating positive change for others. The beautiful thing about empathy is that when others begin to prosper, it improves your own life as well.